Hi, this is Mark, and I would like to go over scheduled maintenance on your mechanical animal ride. You got to remember, even though it's soft and fuzzy on the outside, it's still an electrical device and will require some standard maintenance routinely. I recommend once a week taking 10 minutes, going through the unit and making sure that it is functioning properly and everything is tight. Now, make sure when you purchase your animal rides, you set yourself up with a basic toolkit. You'll need Phillips head screwdriver, slotted screwdriver, a set of metric Allen wrenches, as well as some simple metric open-ended box wrenches. The first thing I want to do is go through and make sure all my electrical connections are tight. They may have loosened up over use. So I'm going to check the coin box, I'm going to check the fuse holder, and I'm going to reach behind and I'm going to make sure the wiring harness is nice and tight on this control box. The other thing that I want to do is, even by wiggling, just make sure that my battery terminals are good and tight. Lucky I did this. I have one loose terminal on this side, and it's important that you keep the battery terminals tight because you want the battery to accept a full charge and you don't want it to heat up when you're using it. The next thing you should do is grab your Phillips head screwdriver, okay, and go around and make sure that any small screws on off switch are good and tight. You will find that there are some screws that are covering the shroud on the wheels, okay. You want to make sure those are tight, okay? And that's pretty much it. You're going to be done with your Phillips head screwdriver. The next thing I would like to see you do is take your Allen wrench set. You want to take and you want to see if there's any movement at all on your button switch. If there is, on the back side, put in your Allen wrench and just make sure it's properly snugged down. The next area that I want you to use your Allen wrench, and it's going to take a little bit more time, is going to be accessing the back wheel area. This is the main drive area of the machine, so you want to make sure that the sprockets are tight, the Allen wrench screws are tight, that all the bolts holding the motor to the unit are tight. That way it's going to make sure that you don't have any malfunctions or slipping on the wheels. It's very easy to unbutton and unvelcro this unit. I pulled it up out of the way and I just simply velcroed it in place. Now, if we walk over to the machine that I have on the table, you will see we have one Allen set screw on our top sprocket, and that's nice and tight. We have one other set screw down low. That's nice and tight. And then we also want to make sure that our bolts for our motor are snugged down good and tight. It's a good idea at this point to also make sure that the chain is well lubricated and that the chain is tight. Once you perform the service in the motor area, okay, one of the things that can bind up and cause problems with the operation of your animal is the wheels. The wheels are a high quality bearing wheel and spin very, very freely. But you want to make sure that as you're moving around either indoors or outdoors, that you do not get pieces of string or debris caught around the wheel that can cause it to bind up and not move freely. So just make sure that you're testing your wheels to make sure that they're running smooth, okay? If you find that you have a little bit of play in the wheel, you can tighten these bolts. This is a self-locking screw, so I don't want you to tighten it too tight, because if you do, then you're going to lose some of your motion on the wheel. It's also nice to know that with these bolts, if I do get something wound up in and around the axle, I can take this bolt out, pull this out, clean it up real well. And it's very nice to have some sort of a lubricating spray, WD-40, silicone. I'm using a little bit of mineral oil, okay, and I'm just going to spray a little bit of mineral oil into the wheel area, spin it a few times, and make sure everything's good. Just like on your bicycle, the fork and handlebar are two separate pieces. Periodically, you would want to go over to the head of the unit, okay, which is Velcroed on. You can unmove the Velcro, unbutton it. It will flip forward, and then you will find a bolt right here. Simply put your wrench on and make sure that is tight. And you can test that by making sure that you have no movement. That's pretty much it on the unit itself. Now you do want to make sure that your coin box is also operating freely and clear and clean. If you have dirty tokens, oil, or dirt on the tokens, it can collect inside, and what you want to do is just take a rag. You can open up the coin box and then just wipe this area inside here to make sure that it's free of debris. We have included some simple repair parts with your purchase, but it's always good on small items like set screws, okay, washers, and common nuts and bolts to go down to your local hardware store, take these in as a sample, and pick up a few extra ones. That way, if anything falls out during the day, during an event, okay, you have the necessary tools and screws and parts to get your machine back and running right away. That's pretty much it, and with this type of scheduled maintenance, once a week, you will have years and years of success with your machine. Thank you.